Hello, folks. Welcome to the Town End. It was like an episode of Monday Night Raw tonight where Stevie Bradley laid the smackdown on Finn Harps for a 1-2-3-0 win with his tag team partner Sam Bone. Unfortunately, we're down to the bare bones ourselves here tonight. It's just myself and Gally, and the Wi-Fi is very dodgy. How's it going, Gal?
Evening. That was an intro. That's got to be copyrighted there. We got to get that and send that out to Chris, and Chris will put that up on the page on its own. What an intro!
It's not going to get much better than that this season, I don't think.
No.
But first win of the season for Dundalk. Gally, you were there. Unfortunately, I was listening in. I didn't get to watch it. I don't want to say that bad about the commentary I was listening to, but how was it? It was the poor first half by all accounts, but I think the game came to life a bit in the second, did it?
Yeah, like it was worrying in the first half. It really was. Like, I missed the first couple of minutes, but I was waiting at Donald at half time, and he thought I missed nothing. Like, I know it's very rare I'm late to Oriel Park, but I missed nothing apparently, and it just seemed. It's not that it was slow. It wasn't a slow game. It was just Finn Harps. I don't know if they're obviously watching the last couple of games, maybe getting at the full backs, getting at the backs, but it just seemed to be kind of. It was almost like we were waiting for passes rather than going and getting them. It's not that we couldn't pass the ball. It was the receiver. We just seemed shy. We just seemed really off the pace. And I mean, a stronger team, and that's been no disrespect to Finn Harps. They're all animals in that team. But I mean, if that's Rovers, or if that's Pat's side that's been on this season, or even Sligo, the game could have been well and truly over at halftime. I definitely think Harps should have been 1-0 up at halftime easily. Like, they've hit the bar, they've had chances. Like Brian Garton's come in. Who am I to be talking about Brian Garton? But when he's come in rusty, started the game, and it just seemed. It's not that it was slow, maybe just sluggish, but rustiness. Again, it's the first half of the game. The second half's a complete carbon copy, but without jumping into the second half straight away, like, they were calling for offsides that weren't there. I mean, Finn Harps were getting them, running them almost every time, but it just took whatever happened at half time. I don't know if they got a rollicking or it's the changes that were made. I know McCarry's come off very early. I don't know what the injury is. Like, Benson's gone in. It shows the versatility of Benson, that he can go in at left back. Maybe it's a pace thing. I kind of thought Doyle would have been the natural one to go in, simply because he's left-footed. Because you miss Benson then, or probably forced then to put on Ward as well later on in the game, just to kind of get that playmaker in. But I mean, it goes to show the versatility of the squad. We said it here last week. That O'Donnell's put a squad together that every player can play two positions. We've got Sam Bone playing fullback, and from what you could almost play anybody in two positions. That's what Benson showed tonight. Yeah, he struggled for the first couple of minutes. They got at him straight away. Finn Harps knew as soon as you went to left back, they were on him. But I mean, as the game went on, there was no problem. There was no issues with it. But I just think we need to start better. And I know that was a recurring nightmare last year. Tonight, again, halftime came at the perfect time. It really did. I mean, Finn Harps seemed to be definitely worth the 1-0 if they had a win at halftime. But having said that, even at 1-0, you still would have expected Dundalk to come out in the second half and have a goal. But like, an unbelievable start of the second half. I mean, it almost ended the game there and then in the spot. Great finish by Sam Bone. I mean, Bradley's goal in the first half again. He's running, he's cut in off at the wing. Left foot, but it's almost a carbon copy of what he done a couple of weeks ago against Derry. Bottom corner. I've seen people tweeting tonight, his 6-month loan has to be extended. I mean, he's an unbelievable talent. Unbelievable talent. I know you weren't watching the game, but he's the best. I know we've had Michael Duffy over the years. He can play right. He can play right across. He can play, attacking midfield, left or right. His first touch. The ball comes in maybe 100 miles an hour. His first touch out of the air, out of his feet to get away from the defender. He's an exceptional talent, a really good find. I don't know who's scouted him or who Stevie's found him, but he's going to be an absolute star. Definitely League of Ireland, no problem. I don't know what. It's hard to believe that he doesn't get a game at Hibs, and that's I probably am being disrespectful with Scottish football, but there's not a lot of difference. I mean, apart from Celtic and Rangers, there's probably not a lot of difference in the top here and the middle table over there. But he's an excellent find. And again, he's kicked the game off for us with his strike into the bottom corner.
Yeah. I think, we're probably going to wax lyrical about Bradley anyway as the show goes on, but if anybody wants to just comment in, Stephen Bradley will be in with a chance to win the 15-inch Tony's Pizza tonight. So I think it's going to be an easy choice for man of the match. We don't usually do it on Monday nights, but because it's the first win of the season, we said we'd have a special occasion. And I suppose, Gally, going back to that first half, and as I say again, I was listening to Dundalk FM, and they were kind of bemoaning just the, as you say, the sloppiness or the sluggishness kind of from a lot of the passing, and it just seemed, not just from Gareth at the back, but it seemed kind of across the back four that we started brightly enough, I believe, in the first few minutes, probably when you were out, but then Finn Harps seemed to get a foothold on it and got those chances, didn't they, to actually take the lead. And I think someone commented in there, it was Lewis McCarry that was holding his groin. It was him that blocked it on the line and had to come out.
That's right. Like the block alone, like I was sitting way up at the back of the stand, but I missed it. But I mean, the block alone was like the pace to get back. Like he was in it was. We talked about Daniel Kelly's chance against Bows last week, but there was the defender and a goalkeeper between him and the goal. This boy was in. It was in the net, but he's absolutely scooped it off the line. An unbelievable attack, and it's obviously probably going on to cause him a bit of an issue now. But yeah, like you were saying about the full backs, it seemed to be. You can't put it down as nervousness. It just seemed to be Finn Harps just knew what to be at. Finn Harps got at them. Like, I don't know if I want to say men against boys or adults against kids or whatever, but it just seemed to be they were bullied out of it. And that's not being disrespectful to Finn Harps. Finn Harps can play ball. They've got some good, exceptional players. Like Conley in midfield is a really good player. He has been for years in the league. Webster at the back as well. As tough as you'll get as a centre half. But I think if they had got their goal, if Finn Harps had got their goal, we could have been looking at a different game completely, because I think it would have really would have got at the lads. But I think the fact that we were still leading at half time and we robbed the lead, it is a great individual goal. But once the second half started, I mean, when you think about it, considering Finn Harps were so well organised in the first half, they actually took kick-off in the second half and sent it straight into the corner, down to Robbie Benson. Maybe they were trying to get at Benson because he's playing left back, completely out of position. But then we just pinged it back down the field and put the ball in the back. And Sam Bones finished with his come in off his right to score with his left. An absolute, like, I have to see the replay on it, but I'm pretty sure it was right after the ball hit the net. It was an exceptional finish from a fullback, especially on his left peg. But once that went in, it was a different ball game altogether. He's made 2 subs at halftime. He's brought on Sloggett. He's brought on Hubin as well. Probably Harsh and McMillan. I know he's been thrown in tonight. Didn't really get a lot in the first half, but then strikers live off passes, and they weren't really hitting them with them, and that was a real issue, kind of for pretty much most of the second half. So I'd say, or most of the first half. So I'd say safely, what happened was within at half time and just drastically needed changes, and Pat Hubin was going to be that change. Pat Link played with Bradley Ward when he come on, Kelly out left. Yeah, it was a completely different Dundalk team in the second half, completely different. But like you say, the first half really struggled with some passing, yeah, just simple stuff. But then you've got Brian Garner. I read a tweet from James Rogers. It's his first competitive game in nearly over 300 days, so he's going to be rusty. But then as the game went on, it was back to square one again. There was no issues. The lads had it all sewn up at the back.
Yeah, and I think, look, it's worth remembering as well, and you said it at the start we've said it a couple of games now in a row, that it's still early in the season. There's still players finding their feet. Andy Boyle, as we said, he's still coming back he's going through his pre-season now. Gareth is going through his pre-season in terms of competitive fixtures or senior fixtures. So it's just going to take a little bit more time, isn't it? But isn't it nice as well to be able to have Gareth coming in and giving Mark Conley a break? Who's had to play every game in pre-season, so there's things that we weren't getting, we weren't getting last year that we seem to be getting now. But
you're breaking up there, thank you. I can answer that question. Yeah, but you're right. Garth's coming back. So we said it earlier in the season. We said, we were looking for new players. We're trying to sign new players. But when you can bring in an established leader at the club, when you can bring in someone that's been there, what are we talking, 10 years, been there, done it all, won everything, scored goals for fun as a centre half. I don't know what the record is for centre half goals at the Oriel Park, but to re-sign a player like that, to get him back on his contract is it's like signing a brand new centre half, regardless of his age, regardless of how long he's been at the club. His fitness, we've seen tonight, his pace and his fitness, probably hasn't deterred that much. I mean, his fitness with, I know on big screen, I'm on my own. His fitness levels are exceptional. I mean, he's a credit to himself to kind of come in from that injury and be able to cover himself, keep himself right, keep himself fit, and to cover himself with that kind of determination to come back and motivation to get back into the squad as quick as he can. It's exceptional. But like you were saying, Pinky, if it's a thing where, hi Chris.
All right, brother.
We're just talking about Garth. We're just talking about Garth.
Yeah.
Coming back into the squad. Look at it. I was saying his fitness levels are frightening. Like, I mean, for someone who's been out injured and for his age.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not 90, but I mean, like, he's an absolute, like, ridiculous beast of a man. Like, it's to have that determination to come back in is crazy.
And it's even, having the confidence with him and Boyle together, they complement each other very well. And you could see at times where Garth's reading of the game is just so good. He doesn't need to lunge, or he just steps in at the right time. And he done that in several occasions tonight. It was a real good thing. I don't know if many people noticed it tonight, but Burnsy had the back four before kickoff and had them in a huddle, had them talking. They were doing little drills themselves, all by themselves, and then they broke, and then the four of them stayed. The back four all continued talking after Burnsy had left. And you could see that what they were trying to do is just form some sort of a unit at the back and get them to know how each other were going to play a whole lot more. Now, I know with Macari going off and everything, that kind of probably went by the wayside somewhat, but it just shows these little things that there's plenty of these things, and you were just mentioning it there, Gally. There was a load of these things that we didn't do last year. We didn't try it, these sort of little things with Burnsy being a central defender, knowing exactly, the pressure that they're under and trying to gel. And he's created so many centre-back pairings over his career. He knows exactly what it takes to gel. And, if he's doing that and maybe giving Lewis a bit of, guidance maybe of how these lads are going to play. And same with Sam Bone coming in, wouldn't have played with either Garth or Boiler before, so I saw that, and then lo and behold, we come out with a clean sheet. Burnsy must be going home saying, I done my job.
Yeah, it's I'm just seeing there, I don't want to start a debate. I thought Bradley was 6 months. Maybe he's obviously not 6 months. We're not paying his wages, we don't mind. But look,
I'd gladly pay it though if these are the performances.
Yeah, I mean, like, we were talking about him. His first touch, like, it was the first time I got to really see him on front of the stand where I sit and get a real. He's exceptional. Like, he really is.
Yeah.
Like at that age, he's better than what Michael Duffy was. Like, I know Michael Duffy was in Scotland before he came to us, but I think he's exceptional. Like, how you'd almost think how he doesn't get a game. I don't know what the history of his games is like at Hibs. I didn't read up on Wikipedia or anything like that, but he's a phenomenal talent. Like his first touch of a ball, and it's like he has eyes at the back of his head. I know that's a really cliched thing to say, but lads can't get near him. Centre halves, left backs, they cannot get near him, and they can't live with him. And then when you've got someone like maybe Keith Ward that was later in the game coming in and living, and Pat Hoobin reading off him, it's a real find. And I don't know who, I said earlier on, I don't know who's scouted him or who's found him, but they've plucked that one out of the bag completely.
We were chatting to Dave Mackay after the match, for LOI TV, and he was saying that he's got every attribute of a modern winger. Yeah. He's got both feet. He can hug the line, more than comfortable coming inside. And as a defender, he must be an absolute disaster to defend against, because what side do you show him?
Yeah.
And he showed his range tonight. If you take the 3 games, you look at even his range of goals. You could say maybe his first one tonight and the Derry goal had some similarities, but like a header, and then the second one tonight, you'd worry, kind of saying, as a defender, you're like, where am I meant to show him? What am I meant to do here? Because he is a absolute bundle of a talent. And
he can
really
almost play
there.
Yeah, and like like if you've obviously got Kelly coming in and you maybe John Martin, he could play centre forward for you. I mean, if you're really stuck, I mean, he's that type of player. Like I remember we said about Kelly before. Kelly could maybe do a job up front for the pace, but this guy has everything. He's like you said, height. He can jump. Like he's probably deceptively good at header, similar to Dane Massey. I know it's a different position, but I think they found an absolute gem, a real gem. Look, we've got some good players. I think Williams is a good player as well. Probably not his best night tonight. I think Doyle is going to be very good, but this guy's he's hit the ground running completely. Like, we're so reliant on him. We're only 3 games in. I know it's probably early days to be talking about that, but if he doesn't play, like if you look at Joe Adams tonight, he's had a good start to the season. Probably wasn't brilliant tonight.
Yeah.
But Bradley is just consistent.
Yeah.
And it's not like we haven't played weak teams. We've played Derry. We've played, we've Rovers due Monday. Is it this day a fortnight? I think he terrorised them. I think he'll absolutely terrorise
them. It's funny. I don't know if you've gone through the game yet or whatever, but like, I don't know. First half an hour, like it could have gone any which way.
Yeah.
That game. Yeah. We at times I thought we started really well and then just fell away. All of a sudden, we were kind of second guessing ourselves, trying short passes, kept getting snuffed out, and we just started gifting them opportunities. And how they didn't take one.
No, it's frightening. Like how we were one, like they should have been 1-0 up. They really should have been.
But it's funny when you talk about timings of goals. Sometimes that was it just shows sometimes you can play poorly, but score just before halftime, and it just completely changed. I mean, Ollie Oregon was probably going to say to them, more of the same lads are going to cough up a goal very soon. Yeah. Next minute, he's a goal behind, and it changes the whole halftime team talk.
Yeah,
and how it's going to be. And then the start of the second half, and we just came out of the traps absolutely flying. And I think they were sucker punched. By the time Ollie's rolling in 3 subs off the bench, he's probably going, I don't know what I'm meant to get out of this match. And Gally's probably thinking, please just score one more so my prediction at 3-1 is right.
I know. I was like, I can't look for a Finn Harps goal here.
Well, I don't know if you heard the start, Chris. I don't know if you heard the start that I was texting Donald today and I had a whole introduction ready, but it was on the basis that we'd win 3-0. So you'll have to go back and give that a listen.
Yeah, they did. But like you say, Chris, either side of half time, I mean, like whatever Stevie said, I know, like I'm criticising Benson maybe going to left back start up, but it's worked perfectly. I mean, he's made 2 subs, he's brought on saxophone, he's put on Hoban, and it's completely changed the game. And it's harsh on McMillan. I feel sorry for McMillan. He probably didn't just get the rub of the green. Like we say, strikers live off passes, and it just wasn't happening for them. But I mean, I don't want to go too far into the game. To go, Keith Ward, he's ridiculous with the ball at his feet. Like I know he didn't have the impact tonight maybe that he's had against Bowes, but he's exceptional. My God, like he really is exceptional across the ground with the ball at his feet. Unbelievable. He picks up space, finds space that nobody can see.
I was just going to say that seems to be his other attribute, that he wants the ball all the time, and when he gets it, somehow he finds a yard or 2 space to get his head up, and then he can pin a ball like nobody else then as well. But even Slogga came on, and I thought that was exactly what we needed. Yeah, the cool, calming influence, especially when we lost that from Benson having to go in at left back. You kind of lost that calming influence in the middle of the park. But I just thought when the 2 boys come on, that was it. I think we were in control of it. And then it kind of reeked a little of desperation then, I think, for Finn Harps after that. They were just like, here, just keep putting everything on.
Yeah.
When Ethan Boyle stopped doing his long throws, I thought, we have these beat.
I think even as the game wore on, it was kind of from such a contrast to the first. It could have been probably 5-0. We've had chances. Yeah, Kelly's gotten in once or twice and just lost his footing a little bit. But it could have been 5. Obviously, I was praying for 3-1 to get it, but bang on the money from last week as well. But I have to say that we badly needed that. I think the fans needed that. I know we're only 3 games in. It's ridiculous to be even talking about that. But considering the draws we have, we probably should have beaten Derry. We've gone to Bowes last week. And I think a night like that, a Monday night, especially because it's so quick and so close to Friday, I think everybody needed that tonight, and the second half alone, you could probably just write off the first half. Even I know we scored, but and actually,
Gally, you'd still take confidence that, I think over the past 2 games, when we had that pressure, we did concede.
Yeah.
But tonight, we probably had the rub of the green of the one off the crossbar and bits and pieces, but we didn't concede. And like you say, it's especially for young Shepherd in goal, it's a great confidence boost for him. There's his first clean sheet.
Yeah.
I was just going to say there, from when I was listening to the commentary, I was listening to Adrian and Giller for a while, and then I was listening to Dundalk FM, and they were all very complimentary about how Shepherd done, especially during that period where we were under pressure. He made a couple of important saves, I believe,
His distribution is excellent. I mean, early on in the season, I keep going back to the Bulls pre-season friendly game, and I've seen the highlights of it, but like he's got an assist for the pass. Now we're not counting assist, we're not looking for assist, but I mean, it's his ball that falls to Bradley's feet and he takes it in, and his distribution was excellent. I still think he lacks a little bit of command in the area. I think he's come out once or twice, and I don't know if the lads haven't heard him. Boyle's got up for a header and he's come out to catch it and stuff like that. And he ends up punching the second one. But look, it's early doors. It's not like he's punching it into the net. Like certain people we used to have it between the sticks. But
that's not fair, Peter Cherry.
Never. But
Gally, you could see it though the longer the game went on.
Yeah.
They were trying to ping balls over the top, and Boyle was very happy to let it roll through, knowing that Shepherd was coming. Yeah. And I think it's that kind of speed off the line that probably playing more senior matches with quicker players or more intelligent players than he's been playing at underage level. I think you'll probably see a completely different keeper by the end of the season. But I definitely think his distribution is probably one of his best attributes. And he's, when he gets it, he wants, especially if he has it in his hands, he wants to move the ball very quickly. And you can see that's probably what favors Bradley, because Bradley's got the pace and the trickery to get in behind people. And if you're on a back foot as a defender and there's a long pinging ball from the keeper like tonight, it's exactly what we need. And it adds another dimension, because I think previously we probably would have said, how did Dundalk play? It's slow from the back, work it out to the wingers get it in towards Hoopen. That's been our style of play for umpteen seasons now. We're kind of rediscovering a new way to play. And if you look at, as I say, maybe take the exception of the first goal against Derry with Bradley and then tonight, but all the other goals have been very, very different.
Yeah.
And that's it's hard to set up against us when there isn't a distinctive pattern of play at times in how we're scoring goals. So that's another feather to the cap, I suppose.
And not not to go negative, and I wouldn't be a Town End podcast with a bit of negativity, but we're struggling. Anyway. We seem to struggle at fullback. We're struggling. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I know McCarry. Look, I know he's playing. Like, I know we're giving out a bit Benson. Well, I was going in at left back, but McCarry's not left back either. So I know with Leahy's out, injuries aren't going to be a friend of ours this year. We decided, but I was talking to Donal. I met Donal at half time, and I didn't see it out of shot. But Hanratty was warming up to go on left back. Right. Now, I don't know if he just didn't. If he thought the boys were too physical for him, I'm not really sure what the decision why he came on. But he obviously went for Kelly. And look, they've won 3-0. We can't really argue. But I wonder if that's going to be a real issue going forward for the season. Whether Bone can sustain playing at right back. Now, maybe he's obviously not signed as a right back. But I worry that we're going to be really, they're going to let loose on us in those areas going forward. Like the likes of Rovers, likes of Pats.
Yeah. I think, Pingu, was it you said at the start of the year that when we had signed McCarry, it was the only area that we were really worried about. But you did say if anything was to happen to him, we're still in trouble. Yeah. And then lo and behold, the scenario rolls out now in front of us tonight.
Yeah, I think it's a story of the start of Dundalk season for the last couple of years, isn't it? I remember a couple of years ago, it may have been Vinny's first season, when Benson got the bad injury. I think Shieldsy got injured, and we ended up struggling in midfield for the first 5, 6, 7 games of the season. And it just seems like history's repeating itself in a different position now. But you'd just be a little bit worried, because we've all said, and you can all see McCarry's done a job in at left back, but you can see where his weaknesses are, not playing on a stronger side. and you would just worry not having a left-footed left back, a player that plays naturally in those positions. Where last year we had Dummigan that could fit in there, you had Djokovskis that could fit in there, and it's just it's still a worry for me. Even if Leahy comes back, how long is it going to take him to actually get himself fit again? You would hope Macari's injury isn't too serious, and he'd be ready to go by Saturday. He'd have that 4-day window to prepare. But it's just that would be the one area that I think would definitely be of a worry to me.
Yeah. Now Leahy was out running around the pitch this afternoon, and you also had John Mountney was doing some ball work early on too. So look, that's good that they're coming, but like you say, I don't know how far away these guys are either, and we're kind of looking for them straight away right now, because left back is a problem for us right now.
Yeah, before we move on, Chris, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we've one of our contributors just keeps commenting in, and I think it'd be really good to get his insight by voice rather than by message. So, Steph, if you're out there, if you're able to log in, pal, we'd love to get your input on the fullback situation again. It'd be a chance maybe for you to offer your services to Stevie O'Donnell as well, So I'm sure you could probably play on the left if you're asked. So just get yourself on, pal. But sorry, Chris, go on ahead there.
No. I was just saying, it's great that the two, that Dara's back running and looking good. I don't know what way the fitness levels, but Sean Mountney was being fairly put through his paces this afternoon when we were setting up. So that's also good to see. But I still don't know how long you'll be talking that either lad could be still behind match fitness as well. Because the unfortunate scenario is if Leahy is anyway fit now, if Macari's injury was bad or we couldn't take a chance on it, you need someone fully match fit to be able to come in and play, and it doesn't look like we have that option right now, which is a little disappointing. But
that's going to be the first real test, isn't it, for the skip, because he's going to have to decide, does he throw Leahy in, who maybe isn't fully fit? Does he rest him for fear of him if he's not ready to go, if the injury isn't fully healed, and putting him in, is that running a risk? So I think he's probably going to have a decision to make over the next couple of weeks about what he does there. But it's as you say, we come up against a Rovers team that, from clips that I saw tonight, because they were on about 10 different streams, they moved the ball well, and if Bowes were targeting that side with Macari last week, if you would think someone like a Rovers is really going to exploit that, and you just don't want to run the risk,
I don't know if you've seen Sean Gannon's goal tonight, but he literally bombed down the right, and then just the ball got cut back to him, and he's inside the box with a little bit of space, and somehow finds the bottom corner. Like, we've seen him do that umpteen times for us, and like you say, it's the last person you want. If you have to get in the confidence of a goal, because
the only thing is Gano's only probably played tonight because it's a Monday game. He's not getting a run in any of the other games this season, so we don't have to worry about him. Or it is a Monday game, isn't it? We played him on a Monday.
It is a Monday. Yeah, a Monday again. Yeah.
So he is going to play that day. Yeah.
Yeah, we're Saturday, Monday. Am I right?
No, I think it's the following week. It's the
Saturday,
following week,
Friday, Monday.
Yeah.
So that's it. The games are coming in thick and fast, But look, if we move on to the man of the match, we'll try to keep this episode a little bit shorter tonight, because I know everybody's.
I think this could be fairly short.
Yeah, man of the match. So Mark Connolly didn't play, so I have to make a choice here. I know. Look,
Jonas Cafu is out.
Yeah, Bradley, I'm not going to say his first name, but Bradley for me, again, he's just, as you say, he's lighting up Oriel Park, and I don't want to exaggerate on him, but I think he's the greatest player of all time, so I'm going to give him man of the match. Gally.
Yeah, I actually said, it's ironic, I said last week, look, I don't want Bradley getting the pizza every week, or the man of the match, but there's no real. I think mention for Sam Bone with a decent game. I think Ben was had a decent game as well. Ben's had a good game. Williams kind of goes unsung in midfield, does all the crap stuff. But yeah, Bradley, he scored twice, like two absolute. Like the second goal, I know the keeper slightly off his line, but I mean he has to find that space, and quality. You could probably give it to him for next week as well. Probably pick next week's one as the next move.
just pick it now. I think like there's probably a couple of candidates, like you said. Sam Bone had a really strong game tonight. Benson done well. Probably when he got moved to left back, you've seen a different side to him, not as much as creativity that you'd normally see. I thought Garth had a solid enough game at the back, coming back in as well. You know, great to see him with the armband and everything. And I just thought, was that a difference of nearly on the second half? You had him, Boiler, Hubin. You know, did Sloggett ever fill in a captain last year? Look at there was some amount of experience.
Oh, massive. Yeah, like even not the captaincy. If you just take Greg Sloggett's career, you know, UCD, Derry, Dundalk, like Wardy as well. Yeah, massive. Like the caps between them is frightening.
Ridiculous. But I think your Bradley though is still just the 2 goals and everything else. I think you're hard not to pick himself. Have we a winner, Pingu?
Yeah, I think Gally, do you want to call out the winner there?
Yeah, we'll go. I'm going to go for Emma Doonan.
There we go.
Well done, Emma.
If that's spelled right, Doonan.
Donnan, is it? Donnan,
is it Donnan?
I think it's Donnan. I don't know.
We'll go with that then. Emma.
I'm driving through town, Donna. Do you want me to pick it up now? Or...
but no, look, I'm sure people are probably bored of us talking about Bradley, and I just see there was like a mini argument going on earlier in the comments of people trying to figure out is he on a 6-month loan deal? Is he on a 12-month?
I put my hands
deal?
up. I thought he was a 6 month. It might not be, but I thought it was 6 months.
I think officially he's on a 12-month deal, according to the club website. But I'm sure if you're Sean Maloney and the sporting director at Hibs, there's probably a conversation going to be had if he keeps putting in these performances. So
that's the danger.
So you might end up being right with it being a 6 month.
Ryan McCardle makes a very good point though. There's a certain winger that's out of contract in the summer, a certain Irish ex-Dundalk winger that's out of contract. So if Bradley has to go back to Scotland, we might be able to get something in there with a bit of a connection to the town. Then we could sort something out.
Do I need to drive to Wickham?
No, it's Harple Singh.
We found him.
He made it into the chat last night, and he's back on the show tonight. I love it.
But yeah, so look at.
Show me the boat earlier, lads. It's looking good still.
He was.
Yeah. Just make sure he got a mention to the boat.
Yeah, him and Jerry make friends. No,
I don't think so.
No,
he didn't mention that.
No, but yeah, look, great night all round. Nice to get a win. We're sitting second in the table, so we're in a familiar position as well. Only 3 games in, but look, it's nice. It's nice to be there, isn't it? Anytime you get there, it's nice. So, I suppose looking ahead, we play Sligo on Saturday. I know we have a couple other bits that we'll talk about before we finish up. But we play Sligo on Saturday. Sligo are another team that have actually started pretty well too. So, how do you fancy the chances in the showgrounds? Always a tough place to go.
The fact that their previous home match got called off with the snow and stuff like that, I'm still hoping they're a little behind where they'd like to be compared to maybe the levels that we got to at times tonight. That might have a factor. The fact that we had a pretty intense game against Derry, another intense game against Bows, and did I see Bows picked up a win tonight against Pats?
Yeah, 1-0.
Yeah.
So it just really goes to show what that result was all about. Like we were waxing lyrical saying, we're looking back at our draw, and I know Derry team had a lot of injuries at the time, but they go and beat Rovers. Our draw now in Dalymount looks like a hell of a result right now. So no, it's very early days to say you're a formed team or anything like that, but there's a small bit of momentum and an extra 90 minutes in our feet, and you look at the wide range of players that we've used, excluding the left back option. We're getting a lot of minutes into a lot of legs right now, and I'm just hoping that might be an element that'll guess. I'd take a draw. I'd honestly would. I'd take a draw over there for the moment till everything settles down. Then you can kind of work out what's an actual decent result and what's not, because these things always tend to kind of work themselves out eventually, and you can see roughly the positions where people are and what sort of a season you're going to have. So I think if we can pick up maximum points in Oriel and we're getting a point on the road from time to time, I think that's not bad.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think, as I say, I think Sligo what they beat Pats on Friday. Drew with Derry tonight, so it's two good results against two teams that you thought were going to be there at the end of the season. But Gally, what's your thoughts on a result? On
just looking, Steph's still coming in with man of the match there. Good man, Steph. Thanks for joining us.
He's looking for the pizza.
Yeah, like Chris was saying, like what I would say is, and not to go back on about last season, but we're better equipped than we were last year when we played Sligo. I mean, Sligo was that particular game last year kicked everything off, and it's like that's when I talk about it when we set up the podcast. My memory always goes back to that game in Sligo. And it wasn't even that bad of a match. It was just that was the one that kickstarted that kind of season. But I think we're better equipped. But, you know, Liam Buckley, Sligo, I wouldn't be Liam Buckley's a big fan, but he always has them playing well. Always a good player, good, young, hungry footballers. You know, they've drawn tonight 0-0. They've shown what they can do against Pats. But, I mean, I'd agree with Chris. You'd be happy with the draw. But I definitely think we can go over. I mean, I think they'll be G'd up for it, considering, you've got your draw the other night, you've got a good win tonight. Yeah. It's a Saturday game as well, so it gives us an extra day off. Even for McCarry to come back from injury, or Leahy to have an extra day of fitness. I think there'll be good fans going over to Sligo. I'd go maybe, I think I'll go a 1-0 win on it. I think we could turn them over. I thought we could concede tonight, and if we don't concede tonight, I think the luck might be with us that we won't concede the weekend as well. I was sure Finn Harps would have scored at some stage tonight. But I go for a wee 1-0 on that one. But I do think, like Frank Carroll made a good point there, they're playing the square in midfield. It all depends who plays in it. It works, all formations work, but when you go changing the players, you've got to tweak the players, it's a little bit different. But I do think that we have enough in midfield that no matter who plays, I think there's enough there to cover ground. So I'll go for a 1-0. I think, I think momentum is. I think we could just sneak in there, over the next couple of weeks and get some really good results. Like obviously, Rovers is a massive match. Like Shamrock Rovers. Yeah. But I think we could surprise people, and it would be a surprise if we go over there and win. It would be a surprise. But I think a 1-0. Yeah, I think just tonight. Obviously, if it's like the second half tonight, I think we can get something. Yeah, I think get a result. Yeah.
So 1-0 for Gally, 1-1 for Chris. Steph, you can text in your prediction if you want. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Dundalk. Just because we went under the bit of pressure there in the first half, I think Sligo probably have a bit more quality in midfield and the attacking areas that if they were there tonight, they probably would have put one of those chances that Finn Harps had away. So
absolutely.
So I'm going to say a 2-1. I think again, I think Stevie's going to have a couple of calls to make on who he starts. I think you look at the centre back position. Does he give Boyler a break? Does he see what Conley and Garrett are? Or does he want to kind of retain the two boys because they kept a clean sheet tonight with the keeper? So I think it's the first time in a long time we probably have three centre halves that aren't happy. Not one of them's going to be happy sitting on the bench. So he's going to have to kind of juggle that now as Garrett returns to fitness.
I think Boyle being the left-sided one, it's very hard to drop the left-sided centre half. But it would be interesting,
especially if you're makeshift on the left back.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah, it's going to be constant pressure.
With control on the left back. Does he swap it out and go three at the back and go two wingers and push them on?
Well, that would be, not that I'm an expert, but that would be the logical, because we're struggling. Because we're struggling for fullbacks, but then three centre halves.
But then he would have done that tonight, surely.
Yeah, and we're not the paciest, so that's the only drawback to because you're going to spread the right centre half and the left centre half are going to have to get wide at some stage, and I don't know if we've got the pace for it. I think it's an option, but I don't see it just because of the pace. Like three at the back suits Harry Maguire. That says a lot. Yeah. So it's the best system to do. It suits a certain type of defender, and you don't. I'd like to think we can still hold it at four at the back, but what we struggle with fullbacks, like another injury there, we're really going to struggle. I'd love to see Hanratty getting a chance, Townender, but I just don't know whether tonight probably would have been the game to get him in. I don't know whether you could put him up against Sligo.
No, it's a good point. They Dickie Kelly playing over left, lads. I don't know if you talked about this for the past while, but he seems to be. I know he wants to cut in a fair bit, but that probably works to our advantage when, especially if we've made a substitute and then, Greg and Wardy are playing in there and they're more than happy to receive the ball. But like a couple of crosses were decent there tonight as well. Like you were probably looking, depending on we're thinking Joe Adams probably is going to be playing there, but is there an option to move somebody else further back now that it seems that Dickie Kelly can play both wings for us?
Possibly, yeah. I suppose, like he does take them on. It frustrates me sometimes with Dickie because he is no end product sometimes.
Yeah.
But I don't know about Bradley. Has he done enough to start this weekend?
No, not a chance.
You
can play with 10.
I'd say they'll even let him drive the bus.
Yeah, but another thing that he has to think about, like I'm sure Pat's probably going to go back in starting up top. I think he needs that. I think that's probably been a little bit unfair with Davy Mack because in the first half he wasn't getting the support I needed. He wasn't getting the ball into him. But Wardy, lads, I mean, again, Wardy's come on now, made an impact in the 2 games he's come on. Maybe that's what he's been told. Maybe he's been told that's the role that he's going to play in the club. But I mean, I just feel like we play with a different dynamic when he comes on, don't we? And we just look a little bit more threatening.
The players don't seem to pick him up. He just seems to have so much space. I couldn't believe the space Finn Harps gave him. I know they had a job to do. They were holding at the back. They were 5 at the back at one stage, but he just picks up so much space. He finds, it looks like he has 90 yards around him. I don't know if because he's small, but he just has so much time and space on the ball, and he can put on a sixpence. I know cliche, but it's ridiculous the space clubs gave him. No, I'm not saying clubs in general, but Bo's done it the other night. They didn't pick him up, and Finn Harps done it. Finn Harps didn't put a finger on him the whole night tonight. I wouldn't say he broke a sweat. I don't know if he's got a stat sports fest on him, but the heat map's not even on. I'd say the heat map's stone cold. He should have never done it. He didn't have to break a sweat. They just let him go so far. But like you were saying, Piggy,
and it's pressurising though, Gally, as well. Like every time they got the ball in the mid and went there, he was on someone's heels. Yeah. He was just busying himself, annoying, and that just puts any sort of flow. You'll see it by the end of the second half. Harps might put 2-3 passes together and the ball will go out of play, and I'd say they were just fed up of Wardy being in the way every single time.
Like he got it right. He got it Conley very early.
Yeah. I think the thing is with Wardy as well. As you were saying there, Gally, he's either afforded too much space or he's not given any space at all. And you were saying there on Bows, I think the second goal on Friday night came from. There's about 5 players actually ran towards Wardy when he got the ball. It left Dickie Kelly wide open out wide. Yeah, exactly. And the ball just went straight out there.
And that's what players like that will do. That McElhenney used to do the same. When Benson played there back and it's Kenny's day, they used to all do the same. And it just, I find it incredible. Now look, I'm not a professional footballer, but I find it incredible the space he got on the pitch. At one stage he was just pinging the ball from halfway line.
Yeah.
And nobody was going to him. Now, I know they're thinking, right, he's 50, 60 yards from goals, it's fine. But it's not. When you've got a player like that. But I'd love to see him start. Now, whether or not he'd have the same impact starting, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of one of them, watch the game from the bench, see where you can get in and go on and do it. I think he is that type of player as well. But I'd love to see him start. But that's just the kind of the fan in me looking to get him back and get as many minutes as possible. But, like you say, Chris, he could have been brought in for that role, He's 30, is he 31, I think? But exceptional talent. I mean, to have that coming off the bench.
And I think if he starts there, he's going to be up against one of his former Dundalk teammates, Greg Bulger, in midfield, and Greg's that snipey little player that's someone like a Wardy's going to get Greg booked and put Greg
exactly.
So you just. It'll be a big call for O'Donnell, but it might be the game to maybe throw Wardy in. I think the biggest thing with Wardy is you're probably not going to get 90 minutes out of him one way or the other. But maybe bringing him in, let him do Wardy things is going to force Bulger to maybe do something rash. So again, as I said, Stevie knows more than any of us do, but we'll. I think
it's nice to have these conundrums, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, last year it was just get him out.
Last year, who was just right, who are we going to transfer this week?
Yeah.
But we'd players who were fearing making mistakes when they were on the ball.
Yeah.
And now we're just lording over Wardy, just having the run of Oriel Park again.
Yeah.
You know, it's lovely to be able to say that players are so confident playing in a Dundalk shirt this season that they want the ball. They're finding acres of space and they're pinging balls and left, right, and centre. You know, there was times where people were just like, just get rid of the ball because I don't want to be the one that makes the mistake this week.
Yeah.
At times last year, so it's night and day the difference. You know, and fair play to Skip for one finding the players, but also giving them the confidence to go and exercise that skill level for themselves. Like,
yeah. And I suppose, look, from our perspective, it's nice, isn't it, to be excited for the next match? You know, it's a strange feeling, and to be looking forward to jumping on a podcast after a match is a strange feeling. Even those games we won towards the end of last season, and we just knew we were going to hammer the club, you know. So it's nice to be positive. And I just want to go back real quick before we kind of close out the podcast on our last topic. But Gally, you mentioned Stat Sports. Sean O'Connor said that he's a big fan of the pod. So, you know, Stat Sports, if we need sponsors. We need sponsors. So if anybody wants to give us anything, if anybody wants to throw any sponsorship our way, feel free to be in touch. You know, get in touch with Chris Clark at gmail.com.
That's not even the right address.
No, don't email that. Don't email that. You're going to give someone sponsorship who doesn't even know you. But I suppose, look, just to kind of finish up the podcast and kind of on a similar topic, we're not a political pod. We're not going to pretend to be, but one of the friends of the podcast, Donald Green, is going to be in Dundalk, I think on Friday or over the weekend.
Said later in the week anyway, yeah.
Later in the week, he's going to be in Dundalk. He's renting a 4x4 Land Rover or something, and he's bringing different materials back to Slovakia with him that'll go towards the Ukraine. So I think he's looking for, I don't have the list in front of me, but he's looking for some clothes, nappies, things for kids. So if anybody wants to get in touch with Donald, we'll put his details maybe tomorrow on our social media channels and get in touch with him for that. So fair play to Donald, and I think hopefully Donald will be actually on a guest on the podcast this coming weekend. So we've got a couple of exciting things coming up with Donald that we can't wait to share with everybody.
Yeah, and just on that, Pingu, you know, Donald sent out just a little link for people wanting to get involved, and it's just your contact details and your phone numbers, things like that, just so we can contact when he is going and he's in the area for everybody as well. So it's really simple form just to fill out, but if everyone could do that, so that way he knows when he's coming exactly what he's collecting and who he's collecting off. Brilliant.
Cheers, Chris. Thanks, Gally. Thanks Steph as well for your contribution in the comments. Thanks everybody for watching. A great night for Dundalk. Nice to get our first win of the season. Thanks to the individual brilliance of Stone Cold Stephen Bradley. We'll be back on Saturday night. Thanks a million everybody for watching. Gally, we'll let you wrap it up, seeing as we don't have.
God, you can't make Gally fill again. He done enough fill.
All right, Chris, well, in his absence, go on, Chris. You do it.
No, lads.
In his absence, just because it's Steph, I'll just leave it with no Steph, no party. How's that?